Okay, nightmare time now. So I've got one last piece left to do on the Dalek neck, and it's the piece that goes inside the rings. And just to show you, here it is. Now it's going to be a beast to do, because as you can see, every one of these things is going to need to be supported. This is a horrible thing. You can see all these rods inside and then the rings attached to them. So I've just sliced it 0.2 millimeters with no support, and to be honest, it's going inside the rings, so it's not going to be very visible. So I think I'm going to change that to a 0.3. Another 15% infill. And to try and get rid of this, because let me just click this on supports and show you what we're going to end up getting. I'm going to turn supports on and hit slice. This is going to take a little bit of time here. There's a lot of trees for it to place. And just for the record, if you hadn't noticed, it was going to be a 7-day print with 0.2 layer height on no supports. So 7 days for that one. Now we turn supports on. Let's see what it would estimate with 0.3. Tell us some serious number crunching going on here with the way the fans are kicked up in the computer. Oh heck, I'm going to make a cup of tea while this thing thinks about it. Okay, so now it's saying 13 days and 15 hours. Holy crap. That's something in the preview. And as you can see, trees everywhere. Inside every band, on the outside as well. Don't know why they need to be on the outside if they're inside every band, but anyway, absolutely horrible. And there's no way I'm going to be doing that. So what other options we got? Okay, let's turn support off. And let's go down to the experimental area and a favourite of mine, make overhand printable. Click on that. And what this should do is start adding plastic to make a gradient, which will hopefully make these bands printable without needing any support. I'm going to put a brim around it as well, just to hold it, bring it to the bed. And let's hit slice again. And let's see how much distortion we get with the extra plastic required. At least the slicing's faster. Done. 6 days, 4 hours and 7 minutes, but let's see what it looks like. Okay, well it's made it solid, so you won't be able to see through it. But as this is meant to be a static prop, I'm not that bothered. So yeah, I'm going to go for that. Yeah, seems like a much better design for my machine. So get my right memory stick, plug it in. All these next sections have been done. Out of there. And let's save to disk. Okay, here's my file, eject it. Let's go and get this thing running and have to preheat the bed and then start it going. Right, so I'm going to start this thing up to do the Dalek neck section, the internals. I'm going to use the black PLA. So once I got this thing running, then I need to do oh, it's already on. Just the screen had gone off. Yay. The tools, I'm going to bring the bed down and give it a clean before I start. So I'm not going to put you through the tedious process of all I'm going to do is just preheat the nozzle, extract the white filament, put in the black, and then probably leave the bed to soak after I've cleaned it for about 45 minutes. It needs a good clean because I've still got some residue on here from when I did that last neck section. Alright, so let me get on with that and I'll show you it when it starts printing. Okay, swap to the black spool I'm going to do this inner Dalek neck section. So it is estimating 148 hours, but I'll turn the speed up on that as usual once I get this first layer down. Printing it with a brim, and it's alright at the moment, so I'm just going to let it get down a few of those rings, check that it's okay, and then I can leave it run. So here's the light casing to go around those clear bulbs that came off the resin printer, and I've got to say it looks immaculate. There's a bunch of supports in here I'm going to have to remove, but once these are out of the way, I'll give it a clean in the wash tank there, and then cure it. They're pretty easy to remove. Just making sure I don't damage any of the actual print itself, because everything is still soft. Let's get all these bits out of the way. I've already had this on the plate in the washer, so it's not as bad as it is when it first comes off with dripping resin everywhere, so that's all been cleaned up already. And I like to use a soft toothbrush just to give it a good scrub in some of these areas where there's some extra built up resin left behind. Yeah, that looks very nice. In fact, it looks so nice, I think I'm just going to make another one and get rid of that PLA piece that I made. And just go with two of these, because this is just fantastically smooth. Bring it into the camera just so you can see how nice that looks. I'm going to do that, and probably the two bottom mounts that go inside as well in this piece. Yeah, so pop that in there, put the lid on it, and just give it another few minutes in the wash. Turn this on, tell it to go and print another one. Got enough resin left in the back, so I don't need to top that up at all. That's the self-test finished. Everything's good. Print. There it is. Let's just get another one going. Alright, see you all later. Meanwhile, I've got my Dalek light frame going around in the curing station, so that should be ready shortly, a couple of minutes. And then I decided to print the second one after all, just because I like the quality of the resin printed one. So that should be coming out of this in, what did it say? 5.5 more hours. It should be done. Right, 30% done on the inner neck bin. That's coming along nicely. Oh, you can see the different layers coming in there. So yeah, printing without supports is working quite well. So, say 35 hours down and 30%. So I'll leave it to it. Meanwhile, over here, I've run off another resin light mount, and there's a couple of bases that go into the bottom there, and that's what I've got the Saturn doing now. So, we'll check on them in the morning, see how they're coming along. Morning, Sunday, and we're up to, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rings around the neck. So managed another 9% from when I went to bed. Everything's still looking good. And on the Sunloo side, I ended up with a mount it in the trash can. It peeled off the plate, so I had to clean the film, reload it. I'll just print them one at a time this time, so I'm not wasting my effort having two ruined. I'll let it start that job and keep my fingers crossed that this time it works. Now it's Sunday night, having a quick look. It's 7:15 in the evening. I'm up to 48% done on the neck section. Coming along good, but one thing we're about to get tonight is a freeze. And Louisiana doesn't do cold weather well, and it's supposed to get way below zero, so I'm going to have to leave the hose pipes running outside and leave the taps running in the house. But what worries me, of course, is we're out in the country and the cold brings down the tree limbs, which then fall onto the power lines, which tends to knock the power out. Not really a worry for me because I do have a backup generator which will kick in, but at some point I expect this thing to switch off, and then, as we've seen before in one of my other videos, the power loss recovery should be able to kick in and let it carry on. So it's something for me to watch out for later this evening. Meanwhile, here I've just finished these little bases for the dome bulbs. So that's one of them in there, soaking away. I've washed that, taken it off the plate. The other one was just finished, so I'm going to have to take that off, clean it up. Tools, manual, turn to home. You can see the other one clinging to the bottom of the build plate there. So I'm going to take that off, clean it up, put it in the tank. Once I've got them both clean, I'll then cure them, and that will be the lights taken care of. Right. I'll catch up with you on the smaller printers in a moment, and I'll show you what else I've been up to. Okay, quick little snippet for you, just in case you actually wonder what these wash stations do as it's buzzing away, because, you know, there's a little thing in the bottom which a magnet grabs and causes it to spin around. So, you know, what's the secret behind it? So, just take the lid off it and show you. And there you can see the little whirlpool generated, and of course that's what sets the water motion going, which eventually cleans your print. So there you go, your mystery solved, just in case you were wondering what the hell's happening in there. A little whirlpool. So before I head off to bed, there's a last look at Neptune 3 Max. I'm making the discs at the moment for the eye-stalk, and these are the lights, which have finished all the pieces now. So what will happen is that will go over that, this will go onto that, and then this whole piece then would be mounted on the Dalek dome as the light. So you see this, there's some holes to look at. That's where I'll end up threading the bulb. These two here are screw holes on either side there, so that will screw that onto the dome itself and hold it steady. Once that's been screwed in place, this can then slot down over the top of it, one on each side. These are the bits of the eye-stalk. There's a piece that will run through these, and then these end up as spacers, so you end up putting on a piece, you have a bit of the eye-stalk, one of these lens piece, whatever you want to call them, that'll go on, spacer will go on there, you'd add a next bit, next bit. So there's about 5 of these in total, and these pieces will just space them out. And then finally this will go over the top of that. So anyway, that's it for the moment. I will update you all in the morning with some more printing.